Hi, I'm Karl Konrad and welcome to the weekly edition of Australian Immigration News. On this channel we keep you up to date with all the law and policy changes that happen so often. This program is proudly brought to you by Australian Immigration Law Services right here in Sydney. We don't just parrot the news like most others. We use our 25 years of experience of running a professional practice in Sydney to analyse and give our opinion on issues that matter. Yesterday on Friday, the Immigration Minister Andrew Giles announced that India and Australia will officially be good mates by the end of the year. The new mobility arrangement for talented early professionals scheme, or simply MATES, will be open for applications from late 2024. MATES will give up to 3,000 Indian university graduates and early career professionals the opportunity to live and work in Australia for up to 2 years. It will also give the chance for them to gain employment and valuable experience in their areas of expertise. We will leave a link to more information about this new program in the description of this video. While I'm happy to see those who can apply under this new visa, it does remind me of the 476 applicants with similar requirements of being fresh graduates. It seems really sad that those 7,000 young engineers may have been capped and ceased so we could make way for our new mates. Looking after your mates is always an honourable intention, but so too is being honest and respectful to others. It is possible to achieve both at the same time. I was pleased to see the issue regarding the lowering of the age requirement for the 485 graduate visa was making its way into the mainstream media this week. The Sydney Morning Herald ran a story saying, "International students say they've been sold a lie by the federal government after plans to axe post-study work visas for people older than 35 crushed their dreams of working in the country." It's good to see they've been watching the channel. However, like so many journalists who are not migration professionals, they still have yet to grasp the big picture, such as why the Immigration Department mentions nothing of this impending change on their 485 visa webpage, and also why the Department of Education is still advertising these particular courses where they will get a 2-year 485 extension when this is planned to be scrapped. Also, the article focuses on PhD students only and mentions nothing about those who have come here to study for bachelor or master's degrees. Many of these students came here to study and then prove their worth to the Australian community by getting jobs in their fields. Graduates over 35 years of age should be given the same opportunity as anyone else, a work visa to give them a chance to seek that employment. After all, they are only asking for something that was promised to them that led them to come and study here. Tonight we hear from Eisen Perry from the US. He is a prime example of making his decision to study a Masters of Secondary Teaching at Charles Darwin University in the Northern Territory based upon the promise of gaining that working visa and employment in his occupation in Australia afterwards. After all, the government sent out that call that we have shortages of teachers and the lure of a 5-year working visa with that extension program. So of course people of all ages came, including Eisen, who is now 38 and now has completed the first semester of his master's degree.
My name is Eisen Perry. I'm one of the 485 enrolled in the teachings program, currently affected by the recent changes where they changed the age from 50 down to 35. I'll tell you a little bit about myself and why I'm interested in living in Australia and teaching in Australia. Firstly, the standard of living's way higher here. I'd be able to have a better future for me and my family. Both my sisters live here, and they currently have great lives and they're very happy. I was hoping to be near them. It was very, very hard to save up for the program. Both me and my wife had to work full-time jobs for a whole year, scrimping by, saving, selling many of our assets back in America, just so we can come here and have a better life for ourselves. And we would not have come here had we known ahead of time that these changes were going to be made. It's made it much more difficult than it was originally advertised. Thank you.
We thank Ison for sending in his story, and he is just one of the thousands who will be affected by the 485 age limit reduction, unless the government introduces a transition period for those who have already started their degrees. The Home Affairs Minister's comment does raise some concerns of whether she fully understands the migration system in this country. In the Sydney Morning Herald article, she says, "Our concern is PhD students who are not working in their field of study, who are working well below their skill level, and who have been here for very long periods of time, being granted ongoing temporary visas when they have no realistic pathway to permanency. It's not fair to them, it's not good for our country or our migration system." Firstly, how does the minister know they have no realistic pathway? Secondly, how is completing their PhDs mean that they have been here for very long periods of time? And what about those who are studying for their masters? They've been here for only 2 years. And the whole statement about having no realistic pathway for PR also makes no sense when there are state and territories that have express sponsorship programs straight to PR for PhD graduates if they study in those states. We feel it is not just us that is questioning whether the minister knows what she is doing. Remember, it was the minister herself who just 6 months ago created the extended 485 visa program, and now she wants it abolished. The Home Affairs Department wants us to believe the visa system is a commercial enterprise, and the 485 visa changes will just be a repositioning of one of their products. According to their media response, they stated, "The maximum eligible age for the temporary graduate visa will be reduced from 50 to 35, repositioning the visa as a product for early career professionals who can contribute to the Australian economy over a longer period." One of our viewers, Camillo, picked up on this comment, saying, "I love it when they say visa product. It makes it clear this is a business." However, clearly the Home Affairs Minister demonstrates little experience in running a business. If I ran my business like she's running the department, I would be sued for breach of promise, have consumer protection agencies on my back, and be put out of business in no time. In business, customer satisfaction with service standards is paramount, and hence transition arrangements should always be put in place when new legislation arrives that would normally disadvantage visa holders. However, when you're a government minister, it seems that standard consumer practices do not matter, and we should all be prepared just to get out of the way when we're told to.
And what you've got now in Canberra is a government that's trying to do something about this problem. And what we need is for you and your friends in the Greens to get out of the way.
On Wednesday, Immigration Minister Andrew Giles outlined the new law reforms to protect vulnerable workers. The Strengthening Employer Compliance Bill 2023 was passed with unanimous support by the Australian Parliament. From the 1st of July, those who exploit a worker because of their visa status will face prison time, penalties and fines will triple, and employers who mistreat their workers will be banned from hiring any worker on a temporary visa. In his press release, the minister said, "This reform is a win for all workers and could not have been achieved without the bravery of those who spoke up and told their story." This strengthening of the law has been a long time coming and is some good news amongst the appalling decisions from the department in recent time. It is interesting to note that the Immigration Minister Andrew Giles gets to tell most of the good news and most of the bad seems left to the Home Affairs Minister Claire O'Neill. I'm not sure if this is a deliberate strategy or is there something else going on here.
What are you doing?
Driving!
I know that!
The first time!
What?
It's a cinch. What does this thing do over here?
Oh, let me do it for Pete's sake!
Now it's time to look at the processing times updates which came out on the 8th of February. The processing times cited here are the median figures for processing, that is 50% of applications. Some can be fast, of course, and others much longer. You can see here on our table, which we will keep updating during the year so you can see exactly what's going on, the 189 visa has gone up a little to 12 months. The 190 visa has slightly improved down to 10 months. The 491 state-sponsored stream is holding steady at 9 months. The 191 PR visa is up to 49 days from 21. Good to see that these times are very low. Let's hope they stay that way. The 489 visa is still at appalling levels, 45 months, but surely there can't be many left who are waiting. If there are, then it's time to run a few videos of how you're coping with that. The 887 visa is up to 3 months, but still a good outcome. It would be great if all these visas had a 3-month turnaround. The 300 fiancé visa is getting better, now down to 10 months. The 309 partner visa is up slightly to 11 months, and the 820 onshore partner visa is down a little to 5 months. But hey, any improvement is a good result. And finally, the 188 visa applicants have some movement down to 28 months. This will be good news for many of the 188 applicants in the business and innovation stream who have been suffering extremely long processing times, over 3 years in many cases. The whole intention of the 188 visa program is to attract people with business plans to invest in Australia, and if things drag on too long, these plans may end up being shelved altogether, as one of the 188 applicants explains.
Hello, I'm Adi Reza Arami. My family and I, along with my brother and his family, applied for Business Visa Innovation Subclass 188, of course with 2 separated files, around more than 3 years ago. Unfortunately, the process of the checking request has taken too long. I'm recording this video to explain that we have a company in our country right now and try to export our experience and investment to Australia for the expansion of our activity. But if it takes too long, we couldn't perform our program in a good manner. Please speed up clearing 188 visa backlog. Thank you.
And our viewers should know that the 188 visa in this stream is a very expensive application to prepare, for you must develop business plans, have them approved by a sponsoring state, and then demonstrate 4 years of financial documents of personal assets and prior business records. It takes a great deal of commitment to a visa process, and the very least the Immigration Department can do is show that commitment back by processing these applications in a timely manner. The latest report from Jobs and Skills Australia into the Australian labour market outcomes for migrants has shown some interesting figures. They have identified the top 5 occupations which have demonstrated the greatest increase for the TSS 482 visa and broken that down to 4 geographical descriptors. You can see that for the major metropolitan cities, there are no surprises at medical practitioners top the list, followed by network analysts, then social workers, then cablers, data and telecommunications, and university lecturers. For inner regional Australia, shown on the map here, you have university lecturer on the top, followed by social workers, then building and engineering technicians, then pre-operative registered nurses and ministers of religion. For the outer regional areas of Australia, you have registered nurses in critical care and emergency, followed by medical practitioners NEC. Then you have registered nurse under medical, then panel beaters and medical machinists in the first class. For remote Australia, and then very remote Australia, we have registered nurses medical, construction project managers, metallurgical and material technicians, retail supervisors, and then production managers in mining sectors. I'm not sure why we have remote Australia and then very remote Australia, but only Queensland seems to have the latter region. Having driven around most of Australia and WA and Northern Territory in particular, I would have thought there were plenty of other areas that met that definition. Well, it's late on a Friday night and it's time for my bedtime. Remember, if you need help, we are always here. As always, take care out there and I'll see you next time. So bye for now.